Some people can train us to speak in an accent other than our own. With me now are Charmian Hoare, a voice and dialect coach who works with actors, and Vicky Carpenter from London Voice Coaching, who mostly teaches, well, anyone.
I don't actually teach people to adopt accents, it's more reduce the accents.
So how do you do that?
And to make them more flexible, speaking from the centre and getting the voice to come right from the lowest part of the chest. So the chest is like a microphone. It has resonance.
An actor has been trained, Charmian. So let's say I'm an actor, I'm not, but let's say I am, and I come to you and I might say, I've got this part and I've got to be a Geordie, I've got to be a Londoner. And then what do you do next?
Well, the first thing we have to do is listen to a native speaker. That's the first thing we do. So my job usually is to find somebody who has the appropriate accent. So it's wonderful just to be able to listen to the accent and absorb it. And then for me to point out certain things about the accent, maybe about the rhythm of the accent or the tune of the accent, certain vowel sounds which are different, certain consonants which are different.
Right.
And also talk about the shape of the accent, because it isn't just an oral job. It's also actually having a look at how the accent is created by the shape of the mouth. So like if I was going to do like a Scottish sound, I might want to hold my lip down like this and have a slightly wider shape to my mouth. And then if I go back into my own way of speaking, suddenly my jaw relaxes a little bit.
One thing I'm spotting here that's a difference between you two is that actors put on costumes. They pretend to be somebody else and then they take the costume off.
Yep.
And in a way, that's what they can do. In your case, Vicky, the personality is involved.
People are often concerned that they will lose their character. But as I always say to my students, your accent has come about through listening to other people, imitating other people. So when you have voice coaching, you're actually going to discover your own natural voice.
I would always encourage them to keep their own native accent. There's something about your personality which is very much part of your accent.
On the other hand, some actors say, particularly the older ones, that they deliberately worked at getting rid of their regional accent.
Well, there definitely was a movement in sort of, I suppose, about 40 years ago, where if you went to the drama schools, you would be encouraged to lose your accent. And these days, it's completely the opposite, because, of course, having a regional accent is like gold dust now for an actor.
When I was at theatre school, we had to lose our accents.
Because that was made absolutely explicit?
We had to. In fact, you would be out if you didn't. And we were taught that your own accent can get in the way, it can interfere, and it can limit you. And even if you have a neutral accent, you can still have a regional accent in a role. You can just work on it. You've got more opportunity. And as I say, I really don't think an accent, it's a very limiting approach. I think it's much more interesting to rid yourself of these influences so you're a blank slate, and then you can build upon that.
But you can't be a blank slate, surely. Let's say I'm from Edinburgh, let's say. And Edinburgh people speak the way Edinburgh people do. And people want to say, I'm from Edinburgh, and that's their way of speaking. That's them, isn't it?
What I'm trying to say is that the dialect can limit you. People want to be citizens of the world. As soon as you speak, you're an open book. People know everything about you, they know where you're from. My pupils who come to me, that's one of their problems. That as soon as they speak, people will say, oh, you're from such and such. And then what they do is listen to the accent, listen to the intonation rather than what's being said.
Charmian, have you got thoughts on that?
I completely disagree with that. In my 30 years of teaching, I have had on occasion people coming to me and asking me if they could lose their accents. And I'm afraid I refuse to do it, because I really do feel that the way that, your heritage, that your accent is who you are.
But if people want to change their accent, you don't have to change your accent. If you want to change your accent, then that's your choice. You should be allowed to do that. Some people just don't want to be pigeonholed. Now, if you're cutting vowels like that, and you're flattening the vowel, that is distorting the sound, and it's depressing the sound almost.
But if you say the word distort, aren't you starting from a norm, that there is a norm that is right and correct, and then if I say like...
Well, it's not about being...
Then that's not normal.
Yeah, no, it's not about being right or correct, it's just a neutral accent. So if you distort the vowel and make it, and flatten it, for example, then obviously it's going to affect the clarity as well.
Is there such a thing as a neutral accent? Is there general agreement that there is a neutral accent?
Yes.
Such a thing?
Yes, that the intonation is coming forward, for example, and it's not rising and falling, and that vowels are reasonably round and open and consonants are firm but relaxed.
That's neutral?
Yes, but there's more to it than that, isn't there?
Charmian,
it's very complex.
You look puzzled.
Yes. In terms of neutral, I suppose there is something that we call RP, or Standard British English. I'm not too sure about neutral. I'm puzzled by the word neutral. I know about Standard British English.
Well, it's the same thing, Standard British Speech, so there isn't an accent.
Well, I would say everything is an accent. I would say everybody has a particular way of speaking.
I'm sure Suzanne and Anna Boyd ought to have the last word on this. Did you ever have a sense... Oh, that's a bit of a shame. She's losing the Scots thing.
Yes, I did. I did. I didn't mind the Scots accent, don't get me wrong, but I did. I would have liked it if she'd kept the Scottish accent. I would have. I know it wasn't practical, with the kids and that, but I would have liked her to keep it. I did think I was losing her. Losing her to the dark side.
Word of Mouth was presented by Michael Rosen and produced in Bristol by Perminda Katkar. The programme is based on an original idea by Frank Delaney. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle invented a character known for his logic and rationality. Surprising then that Conan Doyle himself became so interested in superstition and spiritualism that even his friends despaired of him. We'll learn more about the man behind Sherlock Holmes in Great Lives in a moment.
Tracy Emin on Vermeer's painting A Lady Writing a Letter with Her Maid.
Everything is just so overloaded and so over the top, and this is why I really like Vermeer, because it tells you a story. When I stand in front of a Vermeer painting, I look, and whatever I see on the surface is not what it's about. It's just full of symbolism, everything, but done in an everyday way.
75 creative minds share their inspiring moments in culturally